very warm welcome to everybody who's joined us in the second session of the Urban Affair, where we talk about cities and we talk to people who love their cities. We'll discuss the cityscape, the politics, the art, culture, and the sociology of a city. So today we are going to talk about Mumbai. The topic is Mumbai, no full stops, because it is a city which refuses to stop or take a pause. It's a city which is ever moving, and to talk about the city, we have with us Dishant Bhatia. Dishant is an architect. He's a graphic designer. It's been more than 8 years that he's been into practice, and he also has this initiative called D Dot Studio, where he shares his doodles and his artwork and his graphic art with us. So you all can go and check out his work in the links given in the event. And we'll talk about Mumbai with Dishant. We'll get to know more about the city through him. And I'd also like to introduce Anushri Ghosh to all of you. Anushri will be co-partnering me in this entire conversation about this city, this magnificent city that is. So, Anushri, would you like to add something here?
Super excited to go ahead with the conversation on Mumbai, the city that never sleeps with no full stops. So let's just go ahead with it before I interrupt because I'm so excited. I'm going to talk a lot and interrupt Dishant in between and let's just pull it. Okay. Yes, Dishant, over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for having me here, first of all. I really like the whole idea of the urban affair because it is actually every person, every citizen feels that love for their cities. And it is pretty good to share those experiences with you guys. So thank you so much for inviting me for this. And I'm pretty excited to. So bring on your questions whenever it's ready. Yeah.
So, Dishant, so let's start conversing. Let's start talking about Mumbai, getting to know it through your eyes. So, tell us what brought you to Mumbai? What's your story? And since you're in love with Mumbai, you've expressed your love through your Instagram posts, your writing, your doodles, your artwork. So, tell us how has this love grown organically? Or is it just that you've fallen in love with the city since you have to work here? Tell us more about your take on the city.
Yeah, so my story is a little complicated because usually if you see in social media, there is a Delhi versus Mumbai kind of a atmosphere which goes everywhere stereotypically. I belong to Delhi, but I shifted to Mumbai. I call it as my Karm Bhumi basically. So it's been 3.5 years now that I shifted to Mumbai. I have been to Mumbai since my childhood because my family used to stay here. So I used to visit them once in a year. And that's how, like, I have got a lot of memories with this city. They are the memories of a child who is traveling for summer vacations to one place to another. So those kind of memories actually like resides in your mind for your life. They cannot change at all. And then when I decided to shift my base from Delhi to Mumbai, of course, I ended up as a struggler. I would call it because yes, that part is very true. That whenever you enter into this city for work, you have to struggle. You have to fit in. You have to give yourself time and give the city some time to adjust with you as well. I believe in that. Um because like this is my ideology. I don't know how many of people from our audience would agree with that or not, but I feel that it is the city that allows you to stay in there. It is not up to you. It is uh, of course you have some work to do, of course you have some job to do, but when we say that okay, I could not adjust in that city, I could not feel good about that city, or it is not actually about you, it is about the city, whether the city is feeling good about you or not. So I take all the cities as organisms. I mean, it could be because of my architectural background, maybe because I have studied architecture in that sense. But I always feel that cities are basically organisms, and we are coming from outside, and we have to be a part of that organism. We cannot say that okay, we'll live in this city in our own way. We have to live in the city as the city lives.
So I think, Aishwarya, that's a very pertinent question we can ask our audience, whether they feel the same, or do we also have a kind of contribution when we adapt to the norms of the city? We love to know that from our audience. Yeah. So
True, true. Absolutely. That's an interesting take there, Dishant. And I was just going through your work, and I've been following it for some time, and I've noticed that you often, try to see and visualize Mumbai through the eyes of somebody who's living in that nest in a multi-storied building, through the bird's eye view of the city. So, you must have seen Mumbai through a few years now. So tell me, what changes have you seen in the pattern of life in Mumbai during the COVID lockdown, during this pandemic? You've mentioned that people are just confined to the one window view. So when people had to, be confined to that one window view for a long stretch during this lockdown, how has their lives changed, and how has the pattern of life around you changed? Tell us more.
Yeah, the lockdown period, I would say, was definitely hard for everyone, like irrespective of the city they were living in. It was very hard for everyone, but for like my personal take was the one window view, because I was there like during the first lockdown itself. So I got stuck here for like more than 9 or 10 month, 10 months. And that was the actual view that I was getting during that time, because you are not allowed to go anywhere. You're not like there is nothing, like you cannot buy things from outside and stuff like that was happening. uh, the things that I noticed, I really like the question when you say that what you noticed from that one window view. So that reminds me of like in front of my window itself, there are a lot of buildings. So I always used to see those tiny lights shining during the evening part. And I always, like, I have termed them as the pixel art also, because from a far distance they look like pixels. So these pixels used to start shining up during the evening times. But during lockdown, each and every day, 1 or 2 pixels were moving out, like they were going blank. So that made me realize that okay, people are actually leaving. I didn't have this idea. I was like, you have this misconception in your mind that okay, if lockdown has happened, everybody is going to be staying there in their homes. But then I realized that actually these places were rented places. These, like, just like me, I'm a tenant. So these places were also rented places, and people have started moving out of the city. And that is the moment when it struck me that Mumbai is basically built up of people only. It's humans that is giving life to that Mumbai. The whole character of Mumbai being a fast paced or never sleeping city is because of the people who are there. And of course, looking at the like blank roads, and there is no movement at all. The As you all must have seen that the local trains, of course, when they stop, they are known as lifelines. So the lifeline of the city has stopped. So that all those things were pretty daunting for me. Just to look at those buildings, like that only one experience is pretty daunting on me, to look at those buildings every day, and to see that okay, yesterday there were 10 rooms where lights were on, and now there were only 8 rooms, and then 6, and then 4. So this was my experience, of course. And like I was just trying to uh, get through it, pass through that particular experience. Even when I'm talking, I'm having those goosebumps, because I really don't want that to happen again ever.
So, let's move on to the next question. I was just wondering, Dishant, that you write that when you have to see a city in its true form, in its most unadulterated form, you must visit the city during the early morning hours or during the late nights. So, tell us more. How has your traveling within the city during early morning hours and during late hours has helped you discover a new Mumbai, or probably the unadulterated Mumbai, as you call it?
Yeah. Yes, so this is one formula that I have been telling my students as well. Like when I was teaching in college or wherever I take workshops, this is something that I always tell them, that if you want to see any city, just go out during the sunrise time, because at that time the city is at its purest. I mean, there are like there is no crowd as such. I'm not saying that the crowd is actually spoiling the city. I'm not saying that, but at that particular time you get to see the streets, you get to see the buildings, like waking up, and that moment is very refreshing for me. That time is very refreshing, that particular what we call as golden hour. So that golden hour is very refreshing for me, and because I started doing photography as well when I was a student, I realized the importance of that, because being an architecture student, we always feel that यार मेरी photo पे कोई obstruction नहीं आना चाहिए, like there should not be any traffic here or something like that. Sometimes we feel that, and that's why I started doing these walks early morning. And of course I still do that in Bombay as well. Whenever I get time during the weekends, I go to the fort area, which is South Bombay, and I look at those vintage heritage buildings in their purest form, because yeah, that is one part, that the buildings are beautiful at that particular time. The second part is you get to see the support system waking up. Like at that particular time you will see vegetable vendors, you will see small mandis, what we call. So those people are into their businesses, nobody else is there. So you get to actually see and appreciate the support system of a city. You get to see how this city is actually working. These are the people who are supporting the city.
Hmm. Interesting. I'm glad you mentioned the street vendors here, Dishant, because I think my next question also revolves around the same. You also happen to mention that the street side vending culture or the makeshift attitude culture that you put it is a better alternative for urban space utilization rather than brick and mortar construction. So you say that it is the future. You know, the vendors and the movable entire experience of
Hmm.
movable retail. So
Hmm.
tell us more about this as an architect, as a designer, and as a person also, as a citizen of Mumbai. How do you feel, and how have you reached this conclusion?
So yeah, I would not say that it's only the future. I would say that it's the past, present, and future. It is like especially in Mumbai, when we see that the density of population is way too large than any other city. There are like the density is, I guess, 3 times more than Delhi right now. So when so many people are living in that 1 square kilometer of area, you need people to support that population. So whenever I talk about, like, I have a soft corner for these vendors. I have a soft corner for all the people who are serving people, like I especially street food vendors, I would say, because being a bachelor, being like a person who is young and who has to reach office at 9 a.m, I can skip making breakfast many a times. But I know, I trust that idli wala who is waiting near the metro station or local station. And that is how all the people are working. These people trust these people will be there, and that's why they are not cooking at home. Like when we talk about street vendors, I remember one small instance when I was living in Andheri for a long time. So there used to be an old couple who used to put their stall every day. They had a folding table and they used to put a stall every day, uncle auntie, and they used to serve poha, shira, and sabudana khichdi. So one day I asked them, like, because they looked like they were very educated. So I asked them, like, how do they do this work, and like, how do they make their income and stuff like that? And they told me that they are from a well-to-do family. They are like, and their kids are basically, one of the kid is getting a BTech degree, and the other person is getting a CA degree, and they are doing it because they do not like youngsters to go to the office empty stomach. So they are doing it for them. And that particular moment, I realized that, oh my God, I have been benefiting from them just like my parents would have done for me. So that is the culture, that is the thing. And that's when I realized that, okay, each and every street vendor, each and every person who is standing here in this city is not there just for business. They are there for more than that. They are there to make the relationship, and that has happened most of the times. Like I remember the time when us like idli wala vendor used to serve me a chai also. Like he used to say that, okay sir, aap रहने दो, आज आप मत पे करो, आज मैं पिलाऊंगा चाय आपको. So those things are there. You build those relationship with these people, and I have been benefiting since then. And like I still go for idlis, and I still go for vada pavas and all. And I know that, okay, I do not have to cook today. I can take benefit from that. So yeah, these things are quite important in terms of making it possible for the city to function. That is my belief. That is my belief. Because yes, of course, there is no space in Bombay, so you cannot like, that's why they are using those foldable tables. They know that, okay, from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. they have to stand there, and then some sabji wala vendor will come there. He will stand there till night, and then somebody else will come there, and they will stand there. So it's
Hmm.
basically something which is contributing to a city in a new way. And like I'm pretty scared of the day when I do not find those people on streets, because then I am very worried, who is going to like give me idlis, who's going to give me vada pav. So for me that day is very scary. So that's why I love this whole system of makeshift culture, and using each and every corner of the city for the city itself.
What's your favorite food? Favorite street food?
That's difficult, but yes, vada pav definitely. But I live on idli sambar more. Vada pav is not good for that. Like not that good for health.
That's another blasphemy. Say that to
Yeah.
the Mumbaikars.
No, I mean, but like I eat vada pav a lot, and now I have realized that, okay, I should stop. I should restrict myself from doing that. But yes, idli sambar is something which another thing is, it is damn cheap. I mean, for
Hmm.
20 rupees you get four idlis, and sambar and chutney and everything. For 10
Hmm.
rupees you get upma, you get poha. So this is easy on pocket for everyone. It doesn't really matter whether you work in an MNC or whether you work for some service apartments or something. But
Hmm.
it is easy for everyone, and that is why all the people are working. I mean, again, this reminds me of one small instance. There is an idli wala who is my go-to person. And there was another idli wala standing next to him. So I asked him, like,
Hmm.
there is competition now, so how you are going to earn your business, like, because other
Hmm.
idli walas are also coming up. So he told me that, Dada, there is no problem like that. I don't feel that competition, because uska audience uske paas hai, mera audience mere paas hai. So like non-competitive environment, even when the competition is there in front of you, that was
Hmm.
pretty strange for me, because I have seen people कि अगर वो खड़े होंगे तो साथ में किसी और को खड़े नहीं होने देंगे, because they will think that, okay, मेरा business ruin हो जाएगा. But
Hmm.
these people are okay with it. ये ठीक है, मेरे audience मेरे पास है, उसका audience उसके पास है.
And
Yeah.
generally in cities, I've seen that most of the time people, through pressure groups, try to displace the street vendors, giving the pretext of traffic congestion or probably mismanagement. But generally, this entire debate has become about street vendors versus the carwalas. They're very essential part of the city and to run a city, because most of the in terms of affordability also, most people cannot afford to buy from the big shot shops. So
True.
street vendors actually support a large amount of population which lives in the city, which is in terms of affordability also. So you cannot just
Right.
build this binary that a traffic congestion is there because of the street vendor. They are very, very essential.
Right, right, right. And like unlike other cities, I have seen that these like the vendors here, they only use the footpath. So,
Oh.
so even if all the things are working, only the footpath is occupied, because as I told you, there is no space in Bombay. I mean, there are no roads in Bombay. If a Delhiite comes to Bombay, they will say that ye highway hai, ye main road hai. They are like shocked. Ki, this is the width of the road that you have, and that's why the traffic congestion is more. So of course there is no place to stand on the streets. So they use either the footpath or other places. And yes, the displacement also happens here a lot of times.
Mhm.
Most of the times, like the police wala comes and all those things happen. But yeah, they keep like they have their place in the minds of people.
So, Disha, tell us how walkable is Mumbai, and in terms of the pedestrian paths, and I mean, which is the most easy mode to like travel from one part of Mumbai to another, and especially just to look around you, just to be a vigilant uh, citizen, or I mean, just to casually walk around, which is the best mode of transportation. And also, since we're talking about seeing around, tell us which are your favorite buildings of Mumbai.
So walkability is one aspect where like I could be biased because I do not drive any vehicle. I am a public transport kind of a person. I always use public transport for traveling in any city, because that actually connects me with the city more. I get to know people a lot. I get to know the culture a lot. Here you have the benefit that these the public transport is available to you at your doorstep. Like you get down from your society and you will find an auto rickshaw wala waiting for you. If you are walking down, this is a very funny thing for people, those who come from North India. If you are walking down the road alone, the auto driver or the auto rickshaw wala will come and horn and ask you whether you want to go or not. So this happens a lot here, and most of them, like many of my friends have faced this, and they are like, यार उसने मुझसे पूछा, and they were very happy कि यार वो ऑटो वाला मुझसे पूछ रहा है कि जाना कि नहीं जाना. So this never happens in North India. In those senses, the public transport is pretty easy here to happen. I use share auto rickshaw rides a lot because for long distance also there are auto rickshaw rides, and you can share those auto with other passengers, and you can use that. Of course, you will like it will be easy on pocket for you. Then of course local is definitely there. So the cheapest thing I can see, I mean, from my place or to like to the farthest area, you reach in 15 rupees, and the fastest way to reach everywhere. So local is definitely there. Yes, my favorite buildings, when you say, uh, it could be in the South Bombay area only, because I have the soft corner for old buildings. That is one thing. And yes, then you can like, if in particular, if you want to ask me which are the favorite buildings, then of course the museums in Fort, which is basically Chhatrapati Shivaji Vastu Sangrahalaya. VT is the station, or CST. The name is CST. CST is my favorite building. I can sit there for like hours and just look at the work that these people have done on the building. Then yes, Bhav Dajil Art Museum. That is also another heritage building that I love the most. Mondega Cafe, in terms of socializing with people, in terms of meeting friends, I always take them to Mondega Cafe. So whenever you guys are here, we'll meet up there. So yeah, these are the buildings are like which are favorite to me.
Okay, Dishant. So, since we are talking about the urban affair, and we see the word urbane as something which is moving towards urbanity. And in Mumbai, we have seen lots of changes over the years. And if we talk about Mumbai and say that it's a city of dreams which never stops, and that's why Mumbai, the full stop. Um, and we say that Mumbai is the Maya Nagari, the city of dreams again.
Yeah.
What would you say? The city of V. Shantaram, the city of Mehboob Studios, the city of Devanand, the city of Raj Kapoor. Would you say that city is all Maya? And if not, which part is real? and which part is Maya? And what is the fascination and this attraction towards Maya? Why people are lined up in front of these film stars, and why people are running so much towards Maya? They can't differentiate between the reality and the dream, or it's just a dream which they want to live through and make their reality a dream.
Wow, that's a nice way to put it. I would say the Maya Nagari, of course, it's kind of what I feel personally. It's kind of a definition which everybody has about Mumbai in their minds. So this was there with me as well when I started coming to this city at an early age. Um, I used to go to such places and just to get the glimpse of the cinema stars and the Bollywood stars and stuff like that. But then, like generally, I realize that the more I go to these places and the more I meet these people, I started realizing that these are humans. So these people, like they themselves, do not think that they are stars, because of course, I mean, they are human beings. They are just like you and me. For example, I'll just let you know, but like the first biggest person that I met for the first time was Gulzar Saab. That too in 2013, and he was there for some kind of a lecture in Mehboob Studio only, because you mentioned Mehboob Studio. There was this literature festival happening, and Gulzar Saab was there. I being like a diehard fan of Gulzar Saab, I just wanted to have a conversation with him. I just wanted to meet him, see him. We were waiting, like my parents were also there. We were waiting for them to arrive, and we saw that Vishal Bhardwaj sir and Gulzar Saab and Rekha Bhardwaj ma'am, they all came in together in an Innova, which is like, and we were like, wow, that's so simple, and they're just passing just next to us, and then when they arrived, everybody was there. They were trying to get their photographs clicked with them. They were trying to get the autographs of these people, and they are pretty casual about it. They were not saying or pushing everyone. They were just very casual about it. Even my dad got a pic clicked with Vishal Bhardwaj sir, and he's like very happy with him. And Gulzar Saab, finally, I got a personally signed book by Gulzar Saab itself. I got to talk to him. And those are the moments when you realize that actually this image of Maya Nagari is outside Mumbai. It's not inside Mumbai. So when you are here, you will realize that, okay, these are normal human beings. They are living with us in the same kind of buildings. Maybe their location is different. Maybe their area is different. Maybe their transport is different. But they are just normal human beings, and they are not something which cannot be reachable. And the fascination that you talked about, that fascination, I guess, comes from this very reason. When you see them at the same platform as you are standing, you realize that you can also become that person. You can also one day be successful in whatever you want to have, whatever you want to achieve. So that is something which keeps everyone going in this city. So I have lived with people who are like who worked in a film industry a lot, like makeup artists as well. So when during my earlier time in Bombay, my roommates or flatmates were basically people who were in makeup industry, and they are they talk about these people very normally. They feel like, हाँ ठीक है, इसमें इतना क्या हो गया, ये मिल गया तो इतना क्या हो गया. I mean, have you seen Farhan Akhtar? हाँ तो क्या हो गया. So when you enter into this city, when you become a part of this city, you realize that yes, this is very pretty normal. There is no differentiation or no description maybe in that sense. But yes, it keeps you going because you see that, okay, nothing is unachievable here. Even if you are a struggler, one day you will find your platform. One day you will find your stage. And that reminds me of one dialogue by Tigmanshu Dhulia in Gangs of Wasipur. He says, "Na, हर कोई यहाँ पे हीरो बनना चाहता है, हर कोई यहाँ पे अमिताभ बच्चन बनना चाहता है." So that is the spirit that people are living with, and that's what keeps them going. And yes, Mayanagri, I like, for me, Mayanagri is the concept which is outside Mumbai, not inside. If you start living in Mumbai, it will be your city. It will be just like any other city you have been to.
Well, that's very motivational for any strugglers who's watching, and
Yeah.
for
And
anybody who wants to make big in Bombay. Yeah, please.
yeah, and that's why I started the whole talk by saying that I was a struggler when I started it. I am like, you have to struggle to make your mark here. That is for like, for sure. Nobody can be here and just say that, okay, I am successful, and then on day one. That is not going to happen, because of course the competition is very large. I mean, this is the only place where a lot of people are coming every day. So you have to struggle, but gradually you will realize that that struggle is also a part of your life. You will not get demotivated out of it. You will not feel that, okay, I am not getting noticed, I am not being being looked upon. But yes, you will see that, yeah, people are accepting you, people are looking at your work, and they will like it as well.
Well, here
although
I'm
Maybe
although
that's why
although
we've
I am at the struggler stage still, so I'm not saying that I have attained everything. Yeah, I'm still struggling. Yeah.
here, Aishwarya. I want to talk to you about something since it's a casual conversation. You are also quite fascinated with the concept of Maya, as I know you. So,
true,
just because
true,
we're
true.
talking, how would you like to enlighten your concept of Maya? Would you like to relate it to Mumbai in any way?
And in a way, I think Dishant has summed up what I, see it. ज- पहले एपिसोड में भी मैंने आई थिंक तुमसे ये बात कही थी अनुश्री, जब तुमने मुझसे पूछा था कि क्या रीजन है, व्हाई डू यू वांट टू टॉक अबाउट दिस द अर्बन अफेयर। सो आई टोल्ड यू कि हम सब जुगनू हैं और हम सब शहर की रोशनियों की तरफ जाते हैं, अट्रैक्ट होते हैं। तो असल में यही तो माया है, द मिराज, when people are just chasing something which they think is an illusion, or probably which they find attractive, and they just get attracted to it। तो वही शहर की है कि जब आप उसके पास जाते हैं आपको रियलाइज होता है कि यहाँ पे पानी नहीं है, यहाँ पर वही जमीन है ये, और जो हम देख रहे थे वो एक शायद नजरों का धोखा है, या फिर जैसे व्हाट वी कॉल इन साइंस रिफ्रैक्शन की चीजें, लगता है कि ऑब्जेक्ट्स में अपीयर लार्जर देन दे आर इन actual। So this is what Maya is all about. You're chasing something which is probably existent or maybe not existent, and
But there's
it's
hope.
constant chase.
There's hope in Maya. There's motivation in Maya.
Huh?
You're doing something. Yeah, it gives the purpose to your life.
And that absolutely, and that is why there are no full stops. अगर वो माया नगरी है तो why you, when you're chasing something, you do not stop there. It just keeps motivating you to do something more, to find something more, and so there are no full stops there.
This reminds me
Yes.
of this dialogue from Queens of Gambit, where a person in his adolescence says that he was 13 and he wanted to be the chess master. And he says that, I want to be the chess master and everything. And the protagonist comes and says that, okay, fine, you're 14. Maybe at 15 or 16, you'll become the chess master. But what about after that? So yeah, if we achieve something so much so early in life, it diminishes the whole purpose of existence. So we always need Maya in our life. That just, I think it relates
Yes.
to the conversation too much. Okay, Dishant, coming back to you.
Hmm.
We were talking about the architecture, how you want to explore the city in the morning, in the evening, when the light is really good, when the camera gives you the perfect amount of sun rays entering the lens and then you capture it. What would you say that in the same sense, if we compare it with the buildings internationally and how we see the superheroes jumping from one building to the other in the international movies, Marvel or DC's, if Spider-Man has to come to India, or we have our own Makdi man who has his own powers, Indian power, Indian Makdiyo ka power hai. How do you see him jumping from one building to the other because it has skyscrapers, or from navigate in the slum areas, or in the economically middle class background areas? So how do you
Yeah.
see him or her? It could be a Spider Woman also
Yeah.
navigating through the areas in Mumbai, and what will be the consequences? What will be the reaction of people seeing him or her doing that?
That's a great, like, very fun question, I would say. I have been very fascinated with all these ideas, like, since my childhood, because of watching cartoons and looking at comic books, being a graphic artist. I have been like, I used to create all these cartoons on my own. I used to replicate them. And like, my first blog, which, like, maybe I started in 2009 or 2010, maybe, I don't remember even. So in my first blog, there was a portion where I created a situation where Iron Man is in India, and what are the things he is facing, or something like that, in Delhi, I guess. But yes, if we talk about Spider-Man in particular, I would say, because it's a fun question and it's full of imagination, I would say that Spider-Man would not actually feel much difference from the city that he's in, because the whole idea of Spider-Man being your helpful neighborhood Spider-Man, that is something that he adjusts to all the places. He arrives at the city. He saves the people from different things, even if he is struggling himself. So that we have seen in the Spider-Man movies as well. Of course, the skyscrapers are there, but they are located in a particular region of this place. There are like, the old buildings are only 7th floor height or 10th floor height. That is the only thing. Worli or like Dadar, maybe, there are these places where the skyscrapers are now actually touching the skies. So yes, the concentration of high, like, skyscrapers, as we again think of Maya Nagari, it is very concentrated. The old areas are still like that, like 7th floor building or a 4th floor building. So of course, I would say that Spider-Man would definitely take a auto rickshaw. It's better than like, swinging around through the city. But yeah, it's a very fun thought. I would definitely think, like, if we should create a comic character out of that. Uh,
Yeah, sure. We can think about it, expand our imagination and brainstorm and come out with something. Great.
yeah, definitely.
Are we taking a motto? I don't know. Let's see how it works for the Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on, would you say that Mumbai is very good or bad or not in restructuring itself after a fall? For example, the bomb blast. For example, riots, which has scarred the soul of Mumbai and it was devastating for the whole city. Would you say, in comparison to other city, Mumbai is a strong-hearted person because it's an organism? You said it's a
Yes.
strong-hearted person who can just get up from what it has been and can go through it with a strong mind and is back to track again. And what are the scars or wound that it won't be able to heal?
So yeah, I would add a few situations to this, because, like, frankly speaking, I have not seen major threats or major situations happening in all other cities as well. So I cannot really compare to that. But as we know publicly, of course, all over India, we know that Mumbai spirit is something. The spirit of this city is like, whatever happens, next day this city will be on its foot, ready to go to work. So that is something that I have seen, that is not just for any tragedy, I would say. I mean, nobody has, like, wish that nobody has to face any tragedy or something. But even if small obstructions are there, like, for example, monsoons. I mean, monsoons itself is a very big obstruction. If you say, it can actually stop a city from running. It can actually stop anything working in any city. But every monsoons, I have seen this city going to work every day with the same spirit, with the same hard work, and with the same challenges. Like, they face their challenges. They bring out the solutions to their challenges. So there are, like, a variety of raincoats in this city, just for the monsoons, because they know that they cannot skip their work. They know that, like, they have adapted themselves to those conditions. And like, the movie Gully Boy came in a few years back. There is this term called bahut hard. So बहुत hard nature of the city, what I believe it comes from the build up of the city itself. Like for example, most of the things are made up of metal, like the public transport. If you see local trains, so when you are traveling in local train, even if there is no crowd, you will always hear the sounds of clinking of the handles because they are made up of metals. So when you grow up in such settings, I feel that as a human you become बहुत hard itself. You become strong, you become ready to face any challenge. And that is something which I have definitely seen in this city, and I totally appreciate that. I also felt that feel like यार आज भी क्यों जाना है काम पे, but they go. I mean, you see the same crowd every day, and that is something that never lets you relax in the city, because you know that if you relax for one day, the city will move on and you will be left behind. So that is something, yeah, that spirit is definitely there. I mean, they are strong. It's a strong person, as an organization, yeah, organism, sorry, yeah.
Well, cheers to that spirit. I hope we had something
Yeah,
with us
yeah,
to go on with the cheers
yeah.
tradition. But anyway, okay, thank you, Dishant. Now moving over to Aishwarya for the concluding questions, and please go ahead.
Uh, so Dishan, that was an interesting take on the art and the sociology of Mumbai. While we were discussing the imaginary situation where Spider-Man lands up in Mumbai, we were talking about different buildings and the different heritage structures there. I'd just like to ask you, which Mumbai is the Mumbai for you? The vintage Art Deco Mumbai, or the Mumbai of skyscrapers, or the Mumbai of Dharavi and the Mumbai of Chawls?
Oh, that's I would say, I mean, that's a tricky question actually. For me, if you ask me personally, like Mumbai is an amalgamation of different islands. Like we know all that. Like the whole city has been made up like that, and for me, that is Mumbai. The whole idea of connections, the whole idea of bringing different things together is Mumbai. I cannot imagine Mumbai without a skyscraper, or a Mumbai without a vintage building. They both have to be together to call it a Mumbai. I cannot imagine that situation where only the vintage buildings are there and the skyscrapers are not there, because that is the flavor of Mumbai. That is the feel of the city. I always tell my students as well, like whenever you are in a city, like don't go for the case studies of building. Don't try to study the buildings. Try to take the feel out of that city. Try to grab the feel of that city. And for me, that feel is basically looking everyone at one single stage. If it is the richest person, that is there. If it is the poorest person, that is there at the same stage. They are at the same road. They are traveling, like walking on the same road. So for me, that like bringing up all those things together, like a brilliant example for that, I remember when I was in again when I was living in Andheri, there was a park. There was a small park. So Mumbai doesn't have parks actually. So having a park is a luxury here. So there was a small park, and that small park itself was connecting to different localities of that particular region. So every morning when I used to go there for walk, I used to see, like of course, people from posh area are also walking in that same park. Kids from the slum areas are also playing in that park. Even like before Ganpati, people are actually practicing their drums in that same park, and everything is happening in that. But it's a kind of a very colorful circus that happens every day, and that is each and every place of Mumbai. So when you ask me like which is the Mumbai, like for me, Mumbai is the like addition of all the things. It's never separated. It's never something which can be taken in an exclusive manner, I would say.
Okay, that sums it up. I think, and quite connected to this question is, where do average Mumbaikars go out to socialize? I mean, which are the places where they culturally connect with each other or socially, bond with each other?
Yeah, that will actually answer to this question will add to the previous answer. As I said, that there are no parks in the city, there are no social spaces in the city, and also the city knows how to make like solutions. They know how to bring in jugaad technique to work. So what has happened is like one of the concept that I really like about here is on footpaths on normal footpaths or road dividers. Basically they have created few spaces which are known as jesht katta. So jesht katta is basically substitute to kind of like in Kolkata, I guess adda is the word where people meet together, right? So the katta is basically that place where people can meet with each other. They can sit around and they can talk, they can chat, but it is for senior citizens. So it is known as jesht katta. And it is like it is in every small locality. So it will be having benches, it will be having gym equipments, it will be having a stand with newspapers in it, a small box where the mic is permanently kept there. So these people can come up and organize some kind of a singing competition or something whenever they want to. So this is just one single divider, one single footpath. So this is their public space. So that's how these people actually know how to take care of the spaces, take care of the public spaces. I have seen people talking, or like a couple sitting in these bus stands after dinner, or maybe like after dinner, post dinner walks. Basically they end up sitting at the bus stands and people talk to each other. So bus stand, we do not have that image of bus stands being a place where people can like meet each other, they can talk to each other. But because there are no spaces here, they find places everywhere, they find spaces everywhere. If you talk about the locations in particular, then of course Marine Drive is one of the most visited place by people. Juhu Beach, Bandra, of course. Then yeah, these beaches and these places are world famous for this reason only, and people do go there. I mean, Gateway of India, like if there is nothing to do, let's go to Gateway of India. That is the whole idea here, I have seen. So yeah, so these are the famous places. But other than that, in the city itself, in the fabric of the city itself, each and every street, each and every public amenity is a kind of a place where people can meet each other.
I see. That's interesting. In your previous answer, you just mentioned that the footpath is a place where anybody and everybody actually converge, be it the domestic helps, or be it the street vendors, or be it even the stars. They walk on the same path, so it kind of brings an equality factor over there. So my next question would be related somewhere to this the class. I've been reading a few articles, and in the past a few years, we've encountered that class and caste discrimination, even religious discrimination or kind of xenophobia, has actually percolated into the social fabric of Mumbai as well, which was not so. Earlier, housing and rented accommodations have been denied to people belonging to a specific faith. There has been instances where the domestic helps, the guards, and they've been asked to use separate service lifts, and they've been barred from using the lifts, which or the elevators, which are meant for the occupants of the buildings, or the posh apartments there. So this kind of class and caste discrimination, when it exists in Mumbai, this brings out the fine fracture lines in the much hyped, united apna and Mumbaikar culture wala thing. So how do you see it, and have you noticed anything for yourself, something like that? Please tell me any instances that you've seen.
Yeah, so the last line that you added, that have you noticed anything? So that actually is a very good point from me to start, because personally I have not seen such kind of discriminations happening. Uh, I'll give you the answer. I'll give you the examples as well. Like for example, you have talked about the different lifts being used in the building. So that is one instance which is happening in the new construction because of the bylaws itself. I mean, it is not because of the social fabric is fracturing maybe, but it is because of the bylaws. And why I do not see the social fabric getting destroyed with that, because uh, and every person from the service class uh, is greeted like a family member itself. Like that is something which I have seen. Like for example, we if it's a if she's a lady, she's like a bit old lady, we call them maushi or I mean, these are the two words. I'm connecting it to the language because that's how I have experienced it, and that is something which I like about it. So in language, we call them either I or Moshi. So these both are again very respectful words. And that too, again, irrespective of the caste or creed. I mean, I like we call everyone I or everyone Moshi, and they respond back. And then if there is a person, if there is a male person who is in old age, you will call them Kaka or Dada. These are the words how people like, and I'm talking about everyone. It is not like I call them these like with these words. Everybody I have seen that they call them kaka or dada or something. Younger people, if there are younger people, like for example, there are youngsters also who was working as rack pickers, or like even taking out dustbins from your houses and stuff like that. So you call them dost. So that is no, so these little things actually made me realize when I entered into the city, these are the things which I had noticed for the first time, because I never called anyone dost, greeting anyone as a dost as such. I used to call it okay bhaiya, or okay bhai ye kar de wo kar de. But here everybody calls the person dost ye kar dena, dost wo kar dena. So even if like what I'm trying to say is that even if a person, or if even if the fabric or the infrastructure divide is there, the natural language makes you a friend with the second person. Of course, I'm like, if you are saying that you have read a lot about this, so yeah, of course these things must be happening. But yes, I have personally not seen such things, because I, like in my talk also, I would say that I gave you the examples where uncle and aunties are preparing food for kids. So so that's how these relationships for me personally are very like very intact. They are very similar to what they used to be. And I have seen my grandparents in the same fabric, and I have seen myself in the same fabric. So yeah, I do not see that much of divide is there, because like I could not, I cannot actually share my view out of my window. So there is actually a playground where actually a cricket match is happening right now. So, so from there also I can hear those commentary going on, and all the people around the locality are going there in that cricket ground and watching that without any without any chair or anything placed there. So if there had been some kind of a divide, so people would have like complained about this place, people would have complained about this thing going happening. So that is something which I have not seen or experienced yet, but I hope I don't have to. But yeah, that's the truth from my side.
Hmm. And that's insightful.
Yeah.
So I think that was the questionnaires from me. And Nishri, is there anything that you'd like to add? Your take?
It's already too much of information and insights and emotion have been flowing throughout the session, and I'm overpoured. So I think I need also some time to sink in with the veins of the city, with the running speed of the city. All of us. It's the flavor that you have
Yes.
given us. Only thank yous and thank yous for Dishant, who has enriched our experiences of Mumbai, not being in the city. We have not, I and Aishwarya have not explored the city to the extent you have. And I think we have got a fair idea of how the veins are running throughout. And
Yeah, right.
next time, Aishwarya, we visit the city, we are going to go by his words and explore it from that perspective. So
Yeah,
thank
most welcome,
Absolutely.
and consider me as your guide for the city.
you. Sure.
For sure.
A request for anyone who is watching it from Mumbai that please share your experiences as well, whatever you feel about the city, good, bad, moderate. We just need to know and share our experiences. Urban Affair is all about looking urbanity, deconstructing urbanity through the eyes of city lovers. So if you feel for it, please reach out to us, Aishwarya or me, and we'll get back to you with our views. And we would love to explore your city. So it could this time it was Mumbai. Next, we are still looking for a city to explore. Please reach out to us. Yes, Aishwarya, what would you like to add?
Just would like to thank Dishant for taking us on this journey to Mumbai. You've already been taking us with your doodles, with your photographs. It's been really nice to talk to you in person and explore your perspective of the city. And
Thank you so
we
much.
just look forward to, yeah, please.
Yeah. Just thank you so much for inviting me for this, and especially to talk about Mumbai. I mean, because it is close to my heart. So yeah, it was a fun experience for me. I could really start appreciating the city more during this talk itself.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'd request everybody watching us just go to the given links on the event and explore Dishant's D.Studio, his work, his doodles, and his YouTube channel. Please subscribe to it and also keep watching The Urban Affair for more such cities through the eyes of people who love that. So, see you
Okay.
next time. Me and Anushri will be talking to someone else about their beloved cities.
Bye bye from the studio Utopia and Anecdotes with Anushri.